Another nightmare. I hadn't gotten much sleep with the mysterious glowing skull on board. It kept whispering to me every time I closed my eyes, causing one bad dream after another. Sometimes I felt like tossing it in the water, but my curiosity had the better of me. I had to keep it to discover its meaning. Maybe I'll just keep it farther away from the bed. As I neared the island where I was supposed to pick up the chest for Hyde, an uneasy feeling rippled under my skin. This place looked like a fort under construction, with random pieces of wood and bones scattered all over. Shipwrecks and cannon towers fenced the land. Near the middle of this island was a large tent hoisted up by an old ship's mainmast, and pieces of time-worn rope and patched sails. Under this tent was a circular area bordered with melted candles and squared stones. Wood planks formed the floor, which sheltered an eerie crimson glow from deep below. There stood a woman wearing a mask with painted red lips. She held a brush in one hand and a sheet of parchment in the other. She didn't acknowledge me at all as I walked towards her. "Excuse me, I'm here to pick up a chest of goods. For Hyde." I wasn't sure if she even was looking at me from under that mask. "Excuse me, I have heard your words." She kept writing on her parchment. "What is your name?" "My name is Pebble, ma'am." She stopped writing. Even with a mask, I could feel her expression paused for a moment. I wondered if I said something wrong. "Are you traveling alone?" I heard heavy footsteps behind me. Someone else was there, but I kept my eyes on the masked lady. "Is your loyalty bound to Hyde?" The footsteps stopped behind me. I could feel their presence and hear their breath. "I just took this job to pay for my ship. I'm usually just a merchant." The masked lady then nodded her head. A very large man walked to her side. He was holding a dark wooden chest adorned with red gems and bordered with wide gold trim. "Pebble, since your allegiance bears no compass, I have a rewarding task that requires a certain skill set, and you appear to possess the qualities necessary to accomplish this mission." Me? Your ship has been stocked with a few supplies and the necessary information to obtain the item I require. I don't return the item, and only then will you be permitted to take this chest. I couldn't believe what was happening. But did I really have a choice? When I boarded my ship, I found a spyglass surrounded by a bluish smoke, and a book that only read, "Warrior of the Night. Descended from the sky. Uncharted land is seen, but deep below you'll find." Well, this was odd. A riddle? I held the spyglass and looked through it. Nothing seemed different than me other spyglass. I read the riddle again. Warrior of the Night. I remember old Tim spoke of the Great Warrior as a star constellation. I wondered. So I waited for the sun to set, then looked at the night sky with the spyglass again. I tried to remember where the warrior constellation was. And blimey! The spyglass made every constellation shine brighter than the surrounding stars. I could see them so clearly. The scarab, the old boar, the glimmerfish, it was magical. My next guess was to follow the Great Warrior constellation, and so I pointed my ship northeast. I kept looking at the stars until the warrior was almost directly above the mast. There were small islands ahead, but they didn't show up on the map. I suppose that's what it meant in the riddle. Uncharted land is seen, Now, for the deep below you'll find. There was only one thing to do. Jump in the water? Better wait till morning. As soon as the sun was up, I jumped into the water. Beneath, the sunlight shone bright and made it easy to see. A shipwreck covered in coral and algae was surrounded by a colorful reef filled with life. I swam through the broken remains of the ship, but there was nothing of interest. Not too far from the shipwreck, rocks formed in a sort of archway, so I ventured my way toward it and quickly saw it led further. I swam up, grabbed a breath, and braved my way through. This was a very long passage, built through the island's rocky ground. I could feel my chest tighten slightly. The tunnel then curved to the right and led upwards along another tunnel. Panic began to trickle its way in my head. I could see the water's surface and light. I tried to swim faster, but my chest hurt so bad. Keep going, Pebble. Just keep going. Ugh. My heart was beating fast. My arms and legs ached. There was a torch anchored in the stone wall. The warmth felt nice, but how was this possible? Was someone here? I listened out for any movement, but there were only the sounds of the cave. More light led the way into a tiny cave. No one around. Only empty barrels, crates filled with moldy, sodden books, and a strangely decorated chair. Then I saw it. Beside a skull covered in candles was a book of some sort. It looked pristine and had strange markings all over it. This must be it. As I grabbed it, it felt warm to the touch. I stuck it in the back of my shirt, took a very deep breath, and headed back through the underwater tunnel. I swam to shore, exhausted and trying to catch my breath. Huh? On your feet. A young dark-haired woman with one dead eye was pointing her pistol toward me. I was shocked, but obeyed. I didn't understand. Who was this? What did she want? What are you doing here? I was just looking for some, supplies. She looked at me suspiciously. Is that your ship? I? Good. I needs a ship. Let's go, lassie. She waved her pistol, ordering me to move. This could not be happening. I slowly walked in the direction of Old Star with the young woman following me and keeping her distance. Can I know your name and what you want? 'Tis not important. You'll be feeding the fishies soon enough. Now I was really getting nervous. This was too much. I had to think of something. But if you really wants to know, the name's Margo. As she spoke, I caught a glimpse of an old gunpowder barrel. I had an idea. I turned to the young lassie and pointed to the empty sea. Oi, that's another ship! She fell for it and turned her head while I swiftly took out my pistol and fired. The barrel sparked. I knew I didn't have much time before. I couldn't see any sign of Margo. Why didn't she just leave me there and take my ship for herself? I also wondered, just a wee bit, if she was okay. I didn't want to think too much about it. To me surprise, the masked lady was in the same spot as when I left. "'Tis what you wanted." "Fascinating." Again, I could hear her pensive pause. I handed out the book to give, but she did not reach out to grab it.
"You may leave it on the floor."
When I placed the book on the wooden boards in front of the lady, a dark shadow crept over it.
"Boris?"
I was mesmerized by the book until the large man appeared with the gold-trimmed chest.
"You may now deliver Hyde's compensation. And please, if you ever desire a more rewarding employment, find me again."
I took the heavy chest and walked to my ship. Thinking back on my day, I felt troubled. I had more questions than answers, and I sensed that there was much more to come.